talk about Terence Crawford took his respect. You see he blasted Ellie Setback for hating on him for years because he didn't give him an interview. I seen Jack Catterall kind of like this Ellie Setback too. He had gave me an interview in Vegas, and Setback basically said he didn't want to give him an interview. And at the end of the day, man, it's your journalistic right to be objective and don't let shit like that to get in the middle of it. But you got to understand, this is why some people don't get into the Hall of Fame on the first ballot. You know what I'm saying? Because some of these reporters be having bandanas because, you know, a player might have, you know, not gave him an autograph or not talked to him, and that played an important part. But he had to take his respect, bro, through a lot of slander, and you gotta respect the way he moved through that slander too. You gotta respect the way he moved through that slander, for sure. Because he better than me, because I would have been ripping them dudes to shreds. The way Earl and them turned the media against him, and they got mad at him too. They turned against him because he wouldn't do in media. He didn't really understand the importance of doing media and all that stuff. But he learned that he had to do media, he had to do the circuits and stuff, and you know that was his weak point, was marketing and PR. But he learned, and at the end of the day, bruh, he took his respect, and you know wasn't no more moving the goalpost on him, none of that. You know, like MC Bree say, whether rhyme or crime, ninja, I gotta get mine. You know? You know, he took it. And he handled himself very, very civil. He handled himself in a very civil way. In a very civil way. Because when they was kind of like dragging his name through the mud, he still gave Gervonta Davis credit as one of the best fighters in the world. You know what I'm saying? He still showed him a ton of love. He won't go and tit for tat with nobody, and that's when you know you're confident in your abilities, where you don't have to go tit for tat with people. That's how you know you're confident in your abilities. You ain't gonna go back and forth. That's why I had to learn being on YouTube, dude. Like I'm not about to keep going back and forth with people. I can't convert people to believe or see what I can see. I don't even provide the evidence, because one thing you learned about the mass of people, they don't want to know the truth. Alright, back on this trip again, man. But like I said before about Terence Crawford, he had to take his respect. And couldn't nobody deny him no respect. They can turn around and say, well, you know, well, Earl was weight training, and Earl was this, and Earl was that. Ain't nobody did Earl like that. And that's a very common thing with Terence Crawford. That's a very common thing we continue to say about Terence Crawford. Ain't nobody done this guy like that. Ain't nobody done Postal like that. Ain't nobody done Gamboa like that at that point. Ain't nobody done Kyle Velasquez like that. Ain't nobody, at that point, ain't nobody done Sean Porter like that. It's a common thing. It's a common thing. It's a very common thing. And people had to recognize. And probably his last fight at welterweight was probably his easiest fight at welterweight. They showed that, you know, the bigger the opposition, the more they step up, and people didn't want to give it to him. And they got mad at his fans, was trying to point out the quite obvious. Like, all the duck proof was there. All the slandering in the name, oh, he don't do this, and he don't sell this, and he don't do this, and he don't do that. You know, anybody that got any real type of street smarts already knew Derrick James' body language, how his disposition changed, Earl Spence' body language, how they was trying to always put him off, and he ain't did this, and I'm going to take the easy route. This dude was literally telling people that he was ducking Terence Crawford. Literally. And a lot of Errol Spence and PBC fans was cool with it. lot of them was cool with it. A lot of them was cool with it. A lot of them was cool with it. You know, they laughing at him and they got this vendetta against Top Rank. And I understand. When Bobby Earl was on HBO, he didn't want to make fights, but he changed his philosophy. Understand, you know, he was getting over on a lot of the top fighters. He created his right for a show. You know, he created his own competition. But this Bobby Earl, he believed that he got thoroughbreds in the ring. He don't mind sending his dogs over there. He don't mind, you know, making a fight with Al Heyman now. He was wrong in the past, for sure. He definitely was wrong in the past. But he had to switch his philosophy for Top Rank to survive. Had he did right by Floyd and De La Hoya, he wouldn't really have no competition right now. It would be no Al Heyman in boxing, for real. Without Floyd. It wouldn't be. He created his own opposition. Now people say, well, Terence Crawford no longer with Top Rank, but he's still a Top Rank fighter at heart. He left. He left because to go pursue. Man, these guys out here, man, Dearborn, the worst drivers in history. He left to go pursue. He left to go pursue the fight with Terence Errol Spence. They didn't want to work with Top Rank. Had they been able to deliver that fight for him, damn, everything closed. They construction, know they be fucking do people over, bro. So that's how he ended up over there. But at heart, he's still a top ranked fighter. They still spent a lot of you know time on him. He just had to leave because he had to go chase that Errol Spence fight. But a lot of people didn't want to give him his just due. And I'm just trying to say, man, he showed 100% that he wanted to fight. And people just believed what Errol Spence was telling them, which was nothing. Which it was, you know, smoke and mirrors. And Bob Arum say, when he said, Bob won't give it to me after the Danny and Sean fight, Bob said, we can make that fight in a matter of no time. You know, and Al Heyman never wanted to make that fight. They wanted Earl to move up and fight Keith at 54, and probably would have had Mel drop a belt. They would have fought for the belt at 54 or something, and he would have moved on. Now the question is, could Keith Thurman have did something similar to him? That's a great question. That's video worthy. Sometimes I talk myself into videos. But Bud proved to be the real deal. And he knew he was, I mean, they ignored so many obvious signs that Errol Spence didn't want to fight. When he stopped Sean Porter, he ran out the arena, ain't nobody say shit. Everybody act like he didn't run out the arena. He ran out that arena. That's when it sealed the deal that I already knew. I knew, but that sealed the deal. And that sealed the deal when she stopped Sean Porter and he ran out the arena, and then all the PBC fanboys tried to move the line again on Terence Crawford after he stopped. Oh, Sean was already retired, and Sean Daddy did this, and you just see what Sean Porter said. He had 1 foot in the door and 1 foot out the door. So now what's the excuse for Errol Spence? And respect to Spence, he didn't make no excuses after the fight. The flat out truth is the man is good. The man is great. I seen that a long time ago. When he pummeled Felix Diaz, I mean, really, when he beat Gamboa was prime. But when he beat Felix Diaz, that's when I knew. And if, in the shape and fashion he beat the prime out of Felix Diaz, I said, yeah. When he beat Jeff Horn, that let me know he was the best welterweight in the world. The way he was beating guys. And right now, to this day, Sean Porter gave him his toughest fight. And that seems to be a common theme across the board. You know? And he stopped Sean. And it don't even seem like him and Deontay Wilder put any effort behind their punches. They natural punchers. And the man said it at the end of the fight. He said, I had to go through a lot of bullshit to get this fight. You gotta understand, his family go through that, bro. Kids is cruel. He said, my kids asked, you gonna fight this Spencer guy? He like, he Spence. He said, your kids asked you gonna fight him. And you know, on Saturday it was his mother's birthday. So you already know he was gonna be extra super duper turned up. And Mama brought her dancing shoes. Mama Debbie brought her dancing shoes. And credit to his pops, staying out the corner, letting Bomac, his boy, train his son. Shout out to Saul, Reg, Bernie, and everybody. Sometimes Saul will give him some advice, and it never intertwined in that corner. Sometimes it's Reg, sometimes it's Bernie, sometimes it's Bomac. And Bomac was so happy after that fight, dog. It seemed like they got a lot of weight off their chest. They was chasing that. I don't think they was chasing validity or validation. They was chasing to prove people wrong that was slandering their names. He walked into that locker room, man. He was like, man, I knew it, bro. I told him. He said, they mad. They mad. They got to eat that, bro. And I've been on that side of the pendulum too, where you gotta eat it, bro. You just gotta be like, man, good fighter, bro. Or dude was just a better player today than me. And you gotta tip your hat to the other side, like, man, yeah, you was the shit, bro. Like, yeah. Sometimes you gonna get people to say, hell no, fuck that, nigga. Eat this, and you gotta eat it. You gotta be humble. He was so happy in that locker room. I told him, they mad right now. And Bud went out there, precision. His game was optimized. He didn't waste shit. He was clicking on all cylinders. You know how hard that is to click on all cylinders on the biggest night of your. You gotta make sure your nutrition right. You gotta make sure your mental right. You gotta make sure everything is peaking on that Saturday. And he was. He knew everything Errol Spence was gonna do and some. And they didn't have the answer, Sway. They didn't have the answer, but he took his respect. You wanna know? It ain't no better way to get your respect than taking it. Yeah, it's the hard, the long road. It's the greasy road. You know, it's a lot of bullshit. But when you can take your respect when somebody ain't willing to give it to you, ain't no better feeling. I'd have been on the basketball court, football field, golf course, where people didn't want to give it to me, bro. Especially on the basketball, they look at me and say, oh, you can't hoop. And I go out there and I took my respect every time. And they had to give it to me. That's the best validation, when you take your respect. When they don't think you belong somewhere, but you really do, you take that shit. Ain't no better feeling in the world. So, you know, congratulations to him, man. Congratulations to them, 18. Hats off to Spence and them. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. That subscribe button is the bell icon button. Hit all notifications, increase your chance of notifications. We go live or drop a video. Financially, you want to support the channel. Cash App, $CJ Good313. Venmo, CJ Good313. PayPal link in the description. Hit the link tree. Find me on Twitter, Instagram, Spotify, Anchor, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. Apple Podcast, Google Podcast. Check out the 120 Boxing Talk playlist. Peace.